What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Concrete Edge right here on Deco-Crete TV. My name's Jeff, and on today's episode, we're going to be showing you guys a few tips on how to incorporate two of my favorite things into one project. So stay tuned because today's show is all about fire and concrete. So I'm sure you guys have all poured plenty of just normal concrete fire pits. It's such a great addition to a concrete patio or any other concrete project you're doing. But the downside to just the traditional fire pit that we're gonna actually build a fire out of wood is that they do create a lot of excessive heat, which is gonna eventually take a toll on the concrete. And so you usually need some sort of fire brick or something to line that, and it can just be a little bit of a process. So for today's video, we just wanted to go over a couple other options that's going to eliminate the fire brick. We're not going to have to worry about that excessive heat anymore, and this is something that could be, on somebody's enclosed patio or, with the right ventilation, maybe even interior, and it just allows us to have a lot more freedom with this without all the downsides. So in order to do this, we're going to need some sort of a gas burner system, and honestly, these burners can come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. They can be round, square, rectangle. There's tons of stuff out there. You just got to go and search for it. And then there's also the custom made option, and man, you get somebody that makes custom made burners, the sky is the limit. Now, you do need to be careful for burners that put out a large amount of BTUs, and honestly, everything we're gonna be doing today is just gonna be small gas lines. We're actually gonna run this just off of a grill tank, but again, just make sure you know what you're getting into. If you get some of those really big burners, you might need a larger gas supply and larger gas lines. Now, when it comes to propane versus natural gas, honestly, the burners are all the same. No difference there at all. The difference is gonna be in the plumbing and the hookups. And so just make sure that you know whether you're gonna have natural gas or propane, and just make sure that you're getting the right thing before you get started. So one of the biggest differences with propane versus natural gas that you're gonna need is some kind of a little mixing valve like this. And this is important because, this thing has little air valves in it that it kind of sucks air in, mix it with the propane. It's what's gonna allow us to burn that propane nice and clean without having a bunch of smoke. Now these things are directional, so make sure that you put it on the right way. There's a little arrow on there, and just make sure that your gas is flowing the right direction. If it doesn't, and you put this piece on backwards, what's gonna happen is instead of sucking air into those holes, it's actually gonna blow propane out of the holes. And if you let that continue to happen, there's just gonna be propane everywhere. And if you have open flames, who knows, you could even end up with a fireball. Now, we have a couple different options when it comes to, some sort of valve system. Something like this is pretty much the minimum you need. This will allow us to, control the flow of our propane without having to, we can just turn our tank, wide open, and we can control it here. So that's a good way of doing it, although it does require, reaching under here and, messing around underneath whatever your feature is. So what we could also do is incorporate one of these key valves. And this is something that, we could have just put it in right here. It's got a key system in there. And then this would be on the other side. And you're just turning this, and that way we can control the flow with just the key out here. So another great little option that we could incorporate if we wanted to. Now, it is important to always use a gas-rated thread sealant when you're gonna putting this stuff together, whether it's tape like this or whether it's, some sort of a brush-on sealant, just make sure it's rated for gas. And honestly, if you guys are brand new at this and you've never messed with gas fixture before, having a licensed plumber on hand might be a good idea. Now, when it comes to creating, a void or something for your burner to sit down in, this is always a good idea. There is an option, and with certain ways you can do this, if you have a lot of texture on the top of your surface, sometimes you can put those burners, pour them in and have them right up on top, or you can barely even see the burners, and it's almost like an invisible thing that nobody even knows is a fire table until you light it up. And that's a great way of doing it. But on something smooth like this, we're ultimately gonna end up seeing that. So creating a void is a good idea. That way we can set our burner down into whatever we're doing. And then we could, put fiberglass on top of that, lava rock. There's tons of different options. Even if, if we made this void really big, we could actually set, burner logs down in there, or kind of like a gas fireplace where it would look like the logs are on fire. In this case, we just put some double-sided mirrors down there. And what that does is just kind of covers everything up as far as the burner, and it also can add a cool looking element to whatever you're making. Now, obviously, a piece like this requires a lot of work. You know, we put some time into it, but take these techniques and you can simplify them as much as you want. And you know, they can take this to an outside patio and you're just gonna pour a normal fire ring and we can still do this entire theory just outside and just use landscaping glass. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be something like this. This can get as simple as you want it to be, or you can let your imagination go wild and create whatever you can dream of. Well guys, that's pretty much it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos and all the support that you guys show to the channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons and tuning in every week. Please leave us a comment if we missed anything or if you have any questions on incorporating fire into your concrete projects. If you guys are already subscribed, please don't forget about that bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and it really helps our channel out. So from all of us here at Deco-Crete TV, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.